And welcome back to Now Loading Esports Week 2 of some collegiate Overwatch scrims. I'll be your host for this evening. My name is Kanor. I'm joined by my co-host Austin. Austin, how you doing?
Doing pretty well for tonight. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to be back another week here with the Kutztown Overwatch team, scrimming with their partner. Um, we're just getting the game set up here, so it should be a couple of minutes. And we'll be right into some more about Masters level collegiate Overwatch. Kutztown went. They're so far they are 3-1 in their tournament. This upcoming week they're going to be facing some pretty difficult teams. So I'm guessing that they're going to be pretty heavily reviewing this footage for their upcoming games on the weekend to see how well they can optimize their team. Um, Last week we did see a lot of Diva Reinhardt meta. Um, I'm guessing we're probably going to see a similar thing there tonight. Um, Austin, why do you think, in your opinion, the Diva instead of the Zarya with a Reinhardt nowadays?
As far as I've been able to see, it just looks like the dive tanks, if you will, have a really strong place in the meta, if you will, right now. They have a lot of burst options, a lot of movement. So with the Winston, you got the monkey leap. With the Diva, you got jet boosters, and they can use those to really position themselves around wherever they need to be.
Right. So Diva is kind of taking herself and being that Zarya bubble, getting up on high grounds to contest, maybe a high ground DPS or a flanker who's in their back line. Diva in this meta and in pretty much every meta except for Goat's meta was doing pretty much everything at once. Right? Diva has this kind of unique kit that allows her to do a lot of protecting in very short bursts, and so what that means for the PK factor here, who's Kutztown's diva, is he'll be everywhere at once tonight. You'll see him in the front line, in the back line. Um, their main tank, Sponty, is going to be the one who's on that Winston, on that Reinhardt, up in front, trying to make space for his team. Um, we also do have um, a team name. It looks like they're the Huskies. Isn't there a local college with the Huskies? Isn't that
Isn't
like
that Bloomberg?
Bloomsburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is Bloomsburg, but um, that would be pretty sweet if we had some really local PA. Um,
Although I believe Bloomsburg is Jersey.
oh, is it
I
Jersey?
think so.
Huh. Well, great. That's good.
Still
Either way.
nor'easters.
Oh yeah. Okay, so well we've got most of the players in lobby right now. Just be a couple minutes until we are on to our first game. They have Nepal here selected as their first map. A lot of indoor two basically indoor scenarios, right? We have Shrine and we have Village, both of which the point is very kind of closed in. Um, we probably will be seeing uh, more dive character on a map that has more high ground to defend. Village is a possibility for that, but the choke points at the top, um, we probably won't see dive characters because of those. It's very hard to protect areas like that without, um, a main tank. So um, tell me if we are having, King of the Hill maps here, a lot of teams, Austin, and for our viewers at home, will use Symmetra as a means of leaving spawn very quickly.
Right, for
And
the
then,
teleporter.
right, exactly, for that teleporter. And then they'll ditch the character as soon as their team is through. Um, Now, on Nepal, we will usually see a switch like that off of Symmetra if they're playing a character like Reaper or Tracer, someone who can very quickly get back with their team. On Nepal here, do you think we're going to be seeing, the Big Rick Reaper or the Char Tracer?
Well, in my opinion, I think Maybe the advantage might be to the Tracer, even if just like slightly. She's got a lot of, positional movement abilities. She's got the 3 dashes, and then she's got the rewind. So, um, if Big Rick goes the Tracer, he can do a lot of mix-ups with, her movement, her traversal tools to kind of clutch out some maybe kills from behind.
Right, yeah, we're gonna see a lot of that. I do believe it's Char on Kutztown at least that is their tracer player. So
Oh, and they
I
are
believe
subbing Char in, it looks like.
yeah, we do have Char in the game. I do believe that we're ready to go. So we're gonna get into it here. Like I mean, just to kind of bounce off what you said earlier, yeah, Char being the tracer player, we'll see a lot of quick little side flanks on King of the Hill maps. You typically won't see super long flanks as getting the side flanks are almost just as valuable. You want super long fights so that you get more percent on the point if you own it. And so if we do see Kutztown taking the point early here, we will likely also uh, see them taking those little side flanks on the next offensive. Um,
Sure.
Austin, can you accept my invite? So I can
Um,
get you in game. May have. Here, I'll send you another one. You could accept that. All right. And we are waiting for some character picks here. Looks like we will be seeing that Symmetra to teleport out of spawn here from the Huskies. I did send the invite over to you, Austin. Did you get it? Okay. Oh, let me do this for you, Austin. How about this? I will share my screen for you. Okay. So, the teams are just getting ready here. Looks like we might see a Pharah from Kutztown here. This would be great. This is one of the better maps on the ball for Pharah, as
Definitely.
we'll be seeing a lot of open area for her above this point. The big important thing being this middle piece here, above the center point to kind of give her some vertical cover. That's where good Pharahs get their value, is spamming at a range from vertical cover. And you'll see Big Rick here will close the gap when he has ultimate and try to sneak up and get a quick kill.
Right, and I do think that shrine is definitely valuable coverage for the Pharah, like you were saying. Um, and if they're playing smart, they can definitely try to get some maybe some boops with the little bounce missile off of the side of the map or
Right.
something like that.
We see the Huskies taking a very defensive comp here, right onto point, putting a lot of pressure on Kutztown to get spam, and they do really only have two good spam characters, being the Zen and the Pharah, but that might be only what they need here. You'll see Big Rick above. The whole team here will get a lot of damage in very quickly, already halfway to his ultimate. The Huskies will take the point. Big Rick getting the first pick there might mean a slow win here for Kutztown if they can't make a capitalization off of it. The Huskies are holding on for quite long, and it looks like we might lose Mech from the PK factor. And just as I say that, a lot of kills coming really quick for Kutztown, and the Huskies get blown away.
Right, it looks like their Mei tried to leverage their ultimate there, but it just wasn't enough to zone him out.
Yeah, we did see a pretty quick barrage there from Big Rick, just cleaning out that fight. He did sacrifice himself, but the res from Bone Wheel will keep him in the fight. Huskies pushing up the high ground here. Switch over to the McCree, try to put a little bit more pressure on the Pharah. It's a classic counter pick. It's one of the most common counter picks against Pharah, and they're looking to just put enough pressure on a Big Rick to keep him out of a fight. Char is coming from behind here with a pulse bomb. Might find a good one, but the D.Va will be protecting the Baptiste. Kutztown kind of getting out-rotated here from the Huskies. They did have an early pick there on the Baptiste, and you'd think with their main heals down that they would be able to poke them and take them out, but a great rotate on the point will mean an extra 20-25% before Kutztown's able to recontest this. Nothing doing so far. PK Factor may have caught himself out of position here. And
He's forced to use his ultimate.
Sheep jumping right in front of that, down Mr. President, his whole team, saving them from that Diva Bomb in that ice block form. Bonti with a 4-man slam. He's gonna have his ultimate online soon. Big Rick looking for an opportunity here to use Barrage, but it's a dangerous ultimate to use.
Yeah, that's right. She's stuck in that animation for quite some time, and if the McCree catches on to where her position is, he can just shoot her down.
Mr. Got Game, I have to shout him out. He's doing an excellent job of protecting Rebler on that Baptiste. We saw Big Rick spend most of that team fight shooting at him and at him only, and body blocking and using that defense matrix will prevail for them. A very interesting fight here. The numbers are so low on both sides. 3 versus 3 on point with a Pilot Diva, and only 1 heal on both sides, but the Huskies are still holding on to this point. Kutztown did actually take it. That's my mistake.
Right, but it looks like they're having trouble holding on to that point right there. The Huskies are definitely trying to jockey back into position to retake that.
Monty getting frozen and sliding a little bit into that Baptiste fire as he tries to escape, and a Diva fight ensues up on the top of the point. Huskies will regain control of the point with 85-86 left. We may be in last fight territory for Kutztown if they can't successfully take this point.
That's right. They need to get in quick, otherwise this could be the end of the game right here.
Huskies are doing a really great job of staying really close together on that one side of the point to avoid that burst poke damage from Kutztown. Sponty, the lone member on the point for a little while there, and Big Rick with the hero play tries his best, but that defense matrix from Mr. Gotgame will stop him in his tracks.
The Wrecking Ball just is not strong enough to plow through all of that healing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that character is a great pick, especially with the McCree swap. I mean, they already had the Mei, which is a pretty scary character if you're Wrecking Ball. And then also including the stun with the McCree really is just not helping them out. That McCree swap really did them wonders, countering both the Tracer, the Ball, and the Pharah. That's 3 characters that they're getting out of that one character counter pick.
Yeah, that's some great utility from the Huskies, definitely.
Kutztown, will they switch up their strategy? Huskies, will they keep it? Looks like they may be switching to a bit of a utility kind of a gadget pick here. We do have the Sigma Ball. Looks like we're going to be players will be everywhere on the Husky side. They're going to try to be as spread out as they can and deny Kutztown every line of sight that they can. We do have a very interesting backline, which is that Zenyatta Lucio, super aggressive supports, right? Just spamming down hallways and enabling their team to go as fast as they can. The way around this with Kutztown is they have 1 weak shield that Kutztown, if they break, can use longer sight lines to try to take them out. So we may see a Hanzo pick here. We may see a Widowmaker pick. This is an old Widowmaker map. We haven't seen it for probably 2 years on this map, but the Overwatch League did popularize playing Widowmaker on this map. It's one of the more difficult ones for her, as you know, there's so many places that you can get caught out. But we'll see how these teams adapt.
In the same token, though, there's a lot of vantage points that Widowmaker can take advantage of from those windows and even up on those balconies if she uses her grappling hook.
Right. Yeah, we got Kutztown on a defensive comp. I do like this, although the Torbjorn turret is going to get spammed down at a distance. Almost every character on the Huskies, looks like they did swap over to Soldier and Brig, which is a good pick. But almost every character will be able to shoot at that turret. Kutztown just has to rotate well, and they will be able to out-poke this enemy team. Now they have 0 shields at Sigma dying early.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see the Torbjorn on the offensive here. I didn't really take that for an offensive pick, but They might get some utility out of that auto turret.
Kutztown almost vying to take the point after winning that fight. That is a common strategy. We want to win the fight before we take the point, even though it's open. We just want to guarantee that we get that extra percent. And Kutztown moves over to a high ground position here, but my only worry is they don't have anyone to go contest the point. They don't have a D.Va, they don't have a Sigma or someone who can hop over there really quick and sustain themselves on point. So it looks like they're looking to just deny the whole point line of sight with all of their spam. And it looks like they're going to start doing that with an unsuccessful flank from the Huskies. It was a great try, right? You got those two characters, the Tracer and the Ball, both together, but it just doesn't work out.
Right. Kutztown is doing a great job of denying him that whole area. I'm surprised to see that they're not trying to take advantage of that backway, if you will, in this map to the point right there.
Pretty back and forth scrim so far. I'm really excited for this. We'll have a great evening of seeing which team can adapt better and faster to each other's ideas here. Looks like Kutztown may have practiced the strategy before. They seem very practiced on this map with the strategy. I'm assuming that their map, their first map this weekend in their collegiate games will be Nepal. So good on them for putting some stuff into practice that they did in other scrims.
Yeah, this Torbjorn Orisa combination that they've got going on right now is a lot more effective than I thought it would be. But I guess on a map like this, especially when you're in close quarters like this, it can really work out.
Right. We have so many spam characters. Every character on Kutztown's team can spam from a range. And I think what that Torbjorn is doing is it's adding another character as that turret just to put more pressure on flankers who come in on the back, more pressure on people who are trying to take down that Orisa shield. I'm eating my words here after that pick from the Torbjorn. And Kutztown taking a 100-0 on this second point. Let's see how the Huskies respond.
Absolutely massive reversal from that last round where Kutztown was having a lot of trouble getting in against the Huskies. It looks like they completely counter-rotated them in order to reverse that situation.
Yeah, that position is very hard to get an angle on. With all those characters that are shooting at them, it's got to be incredibly hard to find a place where your team can get in without taking damage. And I will say, I think the Huskies did an amazing job on that first map, staying so very close to each other, because that's what they had to do against the long-range poke damage comp that Kutztown had with that Pharah and that Zenyatta on the first map. I think they did a great job staying together, staying out of the line of fire before a fight began. And it's proving on that second map there that they may need to work on their more spread out comps and their better coordination. Getting into this third map here, let's see who's adapting more. We won't see a Doomfist. This used to be a very popular Doomfist map for the walls around the point. A Symmetra teleport for both sides just to try to get them there as quickly as possible. And it looks like Huskies will beat Kutztown to the point.
Right, looks like Big Rick, he was picked to the Symmetra, but he looks like swapped off again to the Pharah.
That was perhaps one of the biggest Wrecking Ball slams I have seen in a long time. Sponty starts out that fight with a 4-man slam into so much damage from their team. They had the Zenyatta right there, they had the Pharah right there, they had the Tracer right there. It was bad news for those people who are stuck in the air, right? You don't play Wrecking Ball for the damage that you deal with that, you play Wrecking Ball for the stun that it applies to a character, right? Much like in League of Legends or Dota, they have those knock-up effects where characters get thrown up and they're kind of helpless for a second. That's when your team can swoop in and get all that extra damage in while they can't control themselves.
That character is definitely one of the best CC or crowd control characters in the game, if you ask me. He's got the mines and he's got the Wrecking Ball itself, which is just great for plowing through areas with a lot of people and getting, even if it's not a lot of damage, you're at least disrupting their positioning.
Right. We did see, speaking of positioning, we saw very early in this fight Pickle Piglet, the McCree for, the Cassidy for the Huskies. We saw him get out of position. I'm surprised Big Rick decided not to punish it as it was right in front of him. But I'm very impressed with Kutztown's trigger finger here with stepping on the point. We'll see a lot of teams, as soon as a point gets contested, we'll see them go after it to try to keep it on their side. Kutztown's opting to keep the positional value of wherever they are over, you know, getting a little extra percent on the point.
Oh man, that absolutely sneaky positioning from Char right there, just waiting right in that little corner for the Huskies to come out, maybe to sabotage them with a quick time bomb or some other shenanigans with those tracer abilities.
Yeah, we saw a great response from the Huskies, despite losing a player early there. We saw a great response, but as they rotated towards the point, Kutztown was a little more spread, and the fire was coming from so many angles that you know, the Reinhardt just couldn't protect his whole team at once, and that's where we saw a lot of that damage come in. They've got maybe 2 more fights here. Huskies don't have any ultimates on board, so this may be a quick and dry fight for them. Or a super long drawn out one where they use 1 ultimate. Litlow saving his player from behind that wall there. The PK factor eventually will get taken out despite his efforts with that transcendence. Smonty looking for a slam here. It looks like he will not find a good one yet. There it is. He'll find
He's
2
gonna
and
use
you'll
it
see
right
Char.
now. There it
Char,
is.
as soon as that slam comes in, is right there for his wrecking ball to help clean up, and that was a great move.
And the Tracer is already at 89% ultimate charge. She's almost ready to have another time bomb.
I think the bread and butter of Kutztown's composition right now is just comboing off this wrecking ball. And they'll take a resounding win on the 3rd and 2nd maps there. Huskies had a great start. They were definitely playing together. Even if they would lose that D.Va and they had a pilot D.Va, on that point, they were still playing together, and we saw Kutztown adapt pretty well to that. And we'll hopefully see Kutztown adapting to whatever Huskies put in after.
Now entering ready for battle.
King's Row, a classic Scrim map. If you're in the Scrim, the collegiate or competitive community with Overwatch, it's better known as Scrim's Row, simply because you play this every Scrim. This is the map that proves whose team has the better tank line, whose team has a support line that can heal the most, and what DPS can aim at shields the most. So essentially what I'm saying is the DPS are taking a backseat this map to the tanks.
Right. I remember even back when I played a competitive Overwatch back in the day, this was still a very popular map, and the most competitive composition was 3 healers and 3 tanks.
Oh, I have the chills.
I'm throwing it back old school, man.
I'm horrified. Yeah, it's been a while since the GOATS comp has plagued the community. I will say there was a humongous negative response when Blizzard mentioned that they were interested in making it 2-2-2, and I was telling everyone, you know, I was the guy who bought Bitcoin on day 1. You know, I was like, listen, this is gonna be great for the community, and here we are. I think the comps and the techniques that teams are using now are much more fun than they were even with, you know, maybe a 3-2-1 composition that we used to have way back in the day, like season 3 and 4. So,
like I said, I am an OG Overwatch player, so my biggest experience is from back in those days.
looks like we might have we have an exactly mirrored comp here on both sides. Absolute madness here. So many abilities getting used, so many high volume damage abilities getting thrown out. We have Bakrees on both sides, we have Maze on both sides, and we've got the tank and the D.Va battle on both sides. D.Va's just vying to protect the people who get frozen, and it looks like they tried to do that there. Kutztown did get taken out. Litlow's support health went down to 0 pretty quick there after he got frozen. We'll see how Kutztown comes back here on the point.
Right, it does look like they are taking back that point a little bit here. doing a pretty good job of keeping the Huskies out of that area. Although, as I say that, they just managed to get that immortality field up from their support, but does not look like it was enough.
Big Rick switching from one character with a bad ultimate to another, and managing to get a 3K there on that first point. He was on the far on that first map. It's very difficult to get kills with that ultimate, and now on the McCree managed to get 3 on that first fight there. So after, I mean, a great combo with the shatter from Sponty, we'll love to see one from Backflip and Pickle Piglet here. A freeze from the May on the side of
massive
Husky.
freeze and bomb combination right there.
Yeah, unfortunately it didn't find anyone. The fight is not over there. Backflip with an Blackflip with an incredible charge there.
Right inside the
Jumps.
bookshop there. It is getting absolutely nuts inside that little building.
I hope that they were closed when that happened. That probably would have been a lawsuit if they weren't. Huskies taking their stand here on this corner. This is an incredibly great position for them. This is the place they have to be to hold this. And Kutztown, you know what they're doing? They're responding well to it. They're going to come all the way around and make that May wall in that hallway impossible to pull off. Looks like Mr. Got Games just keeping an eye on his backline here, and it looks the Huskies are realizing, and we've switched sides.
Yeah, it looks like they took advantage of the maybe a little bit of a lack of awareness from the Huskies, not realizing they maybe be able to outposition them from behind on that payload.
Yeah, we saw honestly not too slow of a response from them, but the issue was they just weren't in a great order, and as soon as all those abilities came in from Kutztown, it was just too quick for them. Although we do have a Baptiste ult coming up here on the side of the Huskies. I'd love to see a combo with Blackflip here, throw a Fire Strike into their team. We'll see that the amplification matrix dish out a 200 damage Fire Strike to Kutztown, and if he can hit anyone with it, both their DPS will be toast if they're anything but full health.
Well, it does look like Litlo also has his immortality field on deck, so if timed right, he could cancel out that damage.
Big Rick finding another 3-man high noon. Incredible job from him. Great job from Valkyrie there, just contesting that point, getting a couple extra seconds off the clock of Kutztown on this third point now attack on King's Row. This is a rough point for May. May is going to be walling team players off, but if she can't find a good angle, it won't mean anything. Kutztown throws theirs out, the Husky throws theirs out. Both teams finding 0 value out of them.
Although the Mail coming in, doing some decent damage for the Huskies.
Yeah, that shatter attempt from Sponty will be thwarted from the ultimate from Sheep here, and the Huskies will push back. Almost touching the spawn door. Disrespect was imminent there from the Huskies. I'd love to see that because I know that they wouldn't like that in VoD, and I would love to hear that. It's a classic thing, Austin, in the Overwatch community. If you manage to touch the spawn door, it's just disrespect.
Oh sure.
So a lot of abilities getting used early there, and Huskies pushing in front of their amplification matrix.
Oh, PK Factor going in with a nice self-destruct, but it looks like the Reinhardt was able to block the damage.
Right. We're gonna have a lot of ultimates coming up from both teams here, so this incoming team fight's gonna be a little crazy. Looks like they may be deciding to maybe switch a character here. They're standing in spawn for a while. Looks like they were just regrouping.
Yeah, maybe just grouping together. Big Rick's got High Noon, May's got the Blizzard, and we have also the Immortality Field up once again from Litlo.
Pickle Piglet breaks open this fight with a High Noon that's also speed boosted. I'd love to see a High Noon wall combo here from Kutztown. Looks like they're waiting for something, maybe a cooldown from their Lucio. Here comes that amp speed, and they're going in super hard onto Blackflip, taking a lot of damage, but Rebler's there to use that immortality field and save him. Huskies is up one player.
Good positioning right there, up on that top corner.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, the PK Factor's got to get up there and contest him up there. He's just been up there healing his whole team from safety.
Yeah, that's what the jet boosters exist to do, but if the PK Factor can't find an opportunity to get there, it's not going to do much good.
Wow, Mr. Got Game on the side of the Huskies will be eating Char's cryo freeze there, preventing that ultimate on Kutztown from getting used, but it looks like it didn't matter. So much pressure from the tanks of Kutztown, and a great Mei wall will mean that they get some extra real estate on this cart.
Right, and it looks like they might have the Huskies might have one good fight left in them. If they lose this little interaction here, that could be the game for Kutztown.
We've seen a lot of cryo freezes here from Sheet. That's just thrown a little close to their team. I'm not sure if he's trying to use it to prevent tanks from pushing up, or if he's afraid that the D.Va is going to eat it with the defense matrix. Either way, I mean, a great and like strong push from them.
Yeah, absolutely massive pushback from the Huskies. It looks like they were able to get their team together and have a nice counter-offensive, if you will.
We did see last week Big Rick switch to the Bastion on the last fight. If we do have an overtime push here, I'm expecting him to do it after he uses his ultimate, but we may not see those conditions tonight. Both immortality fields on both sides getting used, and a humongous shatter from Blackflip.
Oh, jeez,
and Mr.
here
Godgame
comes...
throwing in a self-destruct. They're up 2 players here, Kutztown down 2, just trying to get onto this point here. It's not looking great for them capturing this last point.
They are fighting with everything they have in order to not let this overtime expire, but it looks like it might not be enough. If they don't get in fast enough, that's the game right there for the Huskies.
They falter a little bit at the end there, but it turns out that they were just luring Kutztown into a false sense of security with those ultimates and pushing them super far back twice there. I'm surprised they didn't hold a little bit closer up on that corner, but it looks like they didn't need it. All right. Are we gonna see a mirror again here, Austin? What are you thinking?
You know, honestly, that's a good question. I do think that, you know, clearly the Huskies' composition worked out for them somehow. They were able to, again, kind of make a counter-offensive on Kutztown, like you said, not once, but twice. So it makes me wonder if they are going to end up mirroring that composition once again. And it looks like there has been at least one swap out from Blackflip there onto the Winston.
Yeah. Okay. You want us just to continue? Okay, sweet. Sorry for a couple technical difficulties here on our side. We are resolving them as we speak. I would be ecstatic if Blackflip did keep this Winston pick. I'm expecting him to switch before the game starts, but we'll see. We'll see what the in-game leader for the Huskies has to say. It looks like we're going to be seeing a. Yeah, I can almost guarantee that he's going to switch off of the monkey. We're going to probably be seeing a mirror. It looks like most of the Huskies are going to be playing those same characters. It
is a shame, though. I would have loved to see the Winston D.Va combination. That is the classic dive tank duo, if you will, in this game.
It would be very difficult to pull off a dive against all of the the characters in this composition. Almost all of them have a way to protect themselves, and that's not what you want against against you. So Huskies pushing up here. Looks like they're going to be saving their speed boost until they get to this corner. They're probably going to be pushing very hard and trying to find Sponty out of position here. That's the key to this. They're going to use this Mei wall after here comes the speed boost. Here comes the Mei wall.
Okay,
looks like they did not split Kutztown enough to get good value out of it, and now it's just a cooldowns game.
Here comes the immortality field from Litlow.
Wow, a really great trigger finger on their positioning. They're deciding to back off instead of playing offensive. Kills trading on both sides. Kutztown's up 3 players right now. Looks like they will be taking this home, and Big Rick's doing so much damage this team fight. Already
Mr.
at
Got Game, the only survivor, and even then got melted down by that McCree.
Kutztown did not get out completely alive though. We do have that pilot diva on the PK factory. Does not have his mech right now, which means he cannot protect his team as well as he wants to. If Huskies know this, they're gonna try to take advantage of this and go for a quick push here. A great Mei wall there from Sheep blocking off that, and another great Mei wall to ditto the one that was just thrown down by the Huskies. A lot of
great
percent
utility from the amplification field right there.
Yeah, Kutztown trying to find some leverage on this point. Looks like they'll find it with a long-range big rig high noon.
But just right there, the Reveler just unleashed his immortality field. That huge push that Kutztown was attempting to do around them just got completely nullified.
These collegiate Overwatch teams just trading Earth Shatters here, blocking both of them. Kutztown just with more ultimates. Mr. Gake will get frozen here. That freeze value does not get reset when you remech, so he will get frozen there and he will lose it. This is bad news for the Huskies because they've got 2 minutes left. They got 90. They nearly captured the point there, but now they do not have Diva mech. And more disaster. They're staggering their deaths here. Now that they're down a player, they finally do have the mech, and Kutztown's going to take advantage of this. They're going to try to play safe here, and they're going to try to stay together. You'll see just kind of standing behind the Reinhardt here and pushing up slowly until they see a retreat, and now they're going to press W.
That's right. And if the Huskies don't get their team composition grouped together, they won't be able to make an effective pushback. They might not be able to capture this point if they don't come together and push as a unit.
Litlow on the side of Kutztown with 14,000, almost 15,000 healing done already. Mirrored on the other side by Rebler. You can see how important Baptiste is to this composition. It's so important that he stays alive through these fights, or the amount of damage that these teams dish simply will be too much. A great opener for the Huskies there. They do get Big Rig.
PK Factor coming in with the self-destruct, although it does not manage to really hit much of anything.
PK Factor did get 3, I don't know if you saw. He did kill 3 people.
Okay, well it did. Maybe it's the angle, but maybe the building blocked my view there.
Yeah, it might have been the wind or something there, but yeah, that was a 3-man Diva Bomb with the Earth Shadow combo there from Sponty. Their tanks have great synergy. Huskies tanks have good synergy too. Kutztown's support line just appears to be a little bit better at protecting their team when they need it, saving those important cooldowns. Last chance for the Huskies here.
Up again with the Mei wall, but the Huskies deploy that
right now it's a 6 versus 5, and they could take advantage of this if they see that it's the Baptiste and not the Lucio.
That's right, and Mr. Got Game doesn't have the remech quite yet, although just as I say, he did manage to get inside of that robot.
Honestly, mistake from the Huskies there. Leaving that Lucio on cart meant that Baptiste could not get out fast enough when he wanted to, and Kutztown will just get a free kill and a bunch of space here. I'm surprised they're not taking this corner here quite yet. Looks like they may be wanting to leverage the cart as the wall space. Sponty will get caught in this wall here, but he'll use the cart to jump over. Huskies in the library once again.
That bookstore has got some insurance files to claim.
Blackfoot finding one with that Earth Shadow. PK Factor responding.
Oh
with
wow! Absolute tragedy from KU there. The Mei wall blocked the PK Factor's ultimate there.
Oh, Mr. Godgame throwing his self-destruct, and we'll see a great example of a hidden mechanic in Overwatch from Big Rick there, flashing the incoming self-destruct from Mr. Godgame and stopping that self-destruct in its tracks out the corner. They did end up losing anyway, so maybe it didn't matter, but if there were more players on Kutztown alive, it might have mattered. PK Factor gets an amazing use of that defense matrix to gobble up Sheep's ultimate there, and that will save his team a lot of resources. And there we go, Kutztown just rolling through and capturing, making sure that that payload does not get to that 3rd point.
A complete team wipe, it looks like right there from Kutztown.
Yeah, they did a great job right after PK Factor ate that ultimate of trying to swing the momentum in their favor, and they did do that. Char up top with an ultimate, looking to get the cryo freeze out on to the whole enemy team. Mr. Got Game looking to eat it. Looks like he does see him, waiting for an opportunity there, and here will come just to kind of block the cart.
Right, looks like only got Mr. Got Game and the Lucio there, but that could be valuable leverage from Kutztown. It looks like it was enough.
Pretty even match. I mean, Kutztown did hold first point very well, but they did lose a lot of ground on second point until a good comeback. I think if we ran that map 10 times, I think it would have probably gone 6 times to Kutztown. Was not a huge lead from them, and I'm sure they'll see that in their film review. Right into the next map, we have Havana here. A relatively new map, even though, you know, having come out almost 2 years ago now. A lot of opportunity here for
I believe this is the map that came out with Wrecking Ball.
Alright, so probably it might actually be 2 years old at this point. A very sneaky start here from the Huskies. They have their whole team right here ready to wall off this right side of the spawn. Kutztown has to be careful when they come out, or they might get caught with their pants down. And an amazing use of that sonar.
The sneaky Hanzo scan.
The scan from Char will find him, but Kutztown gets absolutely pummeled right here and survives.
They gotta back into the spawn room in order not to get absolutely devastated here. Even the Orisa is putting the shield down right outside that spawn door.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that was a excellent execution of that plan from the Huskies. It just did not go in their favor. Lidlow had that immortality field, and you know, both tanks on the side of Kutztown had abilities that keep them alive and their team alive for so much longer. If Kutztown had come out on almost any other 2 tanks, they would have died there. And it's just a little bit unlucky that they, on the Huskies, that Kutztown did not pick different tanks.
Yeah, that little hallway strategy reminds me a little bit of some cheekiness that you can pull off on Volskaya for sure.
Wow, Huskies with an amazing rotate to just destroy Bone Wheel. Bone Wheel caught out on that Zenyatta in the backline, does not have any movement abilities or a way to get out.
And Mr. Got Game is coming into the Char.
PK Factor tried to claw this fight back, and it just did not happen. Char, the lone member of Kutztown up front here, may get caught out if he's not careful. Putting some pressure on the Huskies.
Here comes the Wakatiki, but the immortality field.
Huskies will survive that. Char with another flank. I mean, great use of these little side angles from Char. We saw it on that first sneaky push attempt by the Huskies. He just stood in that side door and picked players off. Great example of mechanical prowess and game sense there from Char.
Right, it was a great attempt right there from Char to use that dragon arrow to catch the Huskies maybe a little bit off guard, but didn't manage to find much purchase there.
Kutztown getting caught out by an amazing mass of people that is the Huskies. They're doing a great job, even on the team fights they lose, of staying together. I'm very impressed.
They're trying to go in and out with that grappling hook like a wrecking ball.
Can't quite get the leverage he needs to get a good swing on him, but looks like he'll find another way in and out. I mean, that's his job. His job is just to kind of disrupt the enemy team, and if they're all together like this, he's going to be getting his ultimates so very quickly, which he does. 6 ultimates on the side of the Huskies will mean this will be a difficult fight for Kutztown to win.
Here comes the self-destruct from Mr. Got Game.
Sponty, the only person on point here, uses that Fortify to try to stay alive, but it just won't work. PK Factor hoping to get a little bit of... Oh, almost did capture the point there. Huskies did let their guard down with PK Factor behind the cart, and he did get the cart to move twice, and it's so very close. Valkyrie will get a great boop onto the PK Factor, and Kutztown now has to back up. As you'll see, the Huskies are going to be given a lot of space here.
Right. I think Kutztown did a fairly good job there, distracting maybe the other team from PK Factor's attempt to disrupt there.
Huskies rotating so well. Look at this. They are a one-man team. Char's gonna have a really difficult time getting any value out of Tracer here, as Tracer really just does well against in the 1v1 here, but against a bunch of people will just get taken out. Kutztown on their last fight here. Gonna have to be careful here. Huskies are pushing in behind it and cutting off their supports, and Bonewheel is forced to use that Transcendence. Big Rick will find one with the Bob and PK Factor, another with his guns. Huskies are fighting back though. Here comes a lot of health onto them from Valkyrie's ultimate sound barrier.
And the Lucio boost as well.
Yeah, that Lucio boost just keeping them alive for a couple seconds there.
PK Factor puts down the mines to get some real estate on that payload. Looks like it did work out for him.
Yeah, Kutztown now has a lot of space for free here. While the Huskies relocate, they're going to get a high ground, they're going to get a flank. They're you know, Char, the Tracer player on Kutztown, is going to have whatever position that they want. And this is really important for a Tracer player to have whatever they want there. Will be finding an early pulse bomb throw, but it will not yield any kills. PK Factor going in from the side there, and a great response there from Pickle Piglet, getting that flashbang onto him and saying, "You're not allowed back here, man." Huskies with a 6-man drop onto Kutztown, and it will find one in the kill feed with Sponty falling early. Litlow trying to keep his tank up there, but just so much damage from 6 players at once. I'm so impressed with the Huskies' ability to stay together and fight as a team, and Kutztown is suffering because of it.
Yeah, it looks like Kutztown is a little bit spread out right now, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's fights happening in so many places, and now that the fight's getting brought back together, it will go in the way of the Huskies if they can stay alive just a little longer for their respawns to come in. Kutztown being incredibly aggressive here, may be able to find something, but Sponty getting frozen twice here. Litlow right there to keep him up, and with the pressure on the cart there, they will find a little bit of space to move up.
Although Valkyrie is doing a great job going in there, but gets taken out by their DPS.
He will trade a life for a life. Bonewheel now has a very long and slow walk back from spawn. Kutztown with 3 ultimates here. Huskies with 3. Anybody's fight here. Kutztown is down a player though.
Right. Tracer not exactly known for her survivability. 150 health on that character makes her pretty easy to take out if focused on.
Blackflip using that Earth Shatter to just guarantee that they get this fight win, and Bonewheel gets here in time to be able to use that Transcendence, but now he's left alone, and now he's got to run away. He might be able to get away if his team can find a line of sight on him, but it's not looking great.
Absolutely unfortunate. Blackflip gets the Fire Strike snipe on him.
The Huskies are wise to Char's tricks here, and it looks like he will be unable to get over the wall like he did earlier. Kutztown stopped in their tracks right before the end of second point. That was a great defense. I'm incredibly impressed with how well the Huskies are staying together and making decisions together. You'll see, Pickle Piglet having an ultimate online. He'll tell his team, and the team will respond and protect him and rotate with him when he's using that high noon on the Cassidy.
PK Factor just not able to find the crowd control that he needed in order for Kutztown to get a good enough foothold to push that payload just that little bit further. Like you said, the Huskies, I think, did a great job being able to disrupt the positioning from Kutztown. Like I said, if you ask me, they looked a little bit spread out.
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect a little bit of spread from a team composition like the one that they had, but I feel like when the fights, excuse me, my voice is leaving me. You'd expect to see a little bit of a turnaround when the fight begins to a more focused target calling from Kutztown, but we didn't see that.
I have my eye on you. I'll send you my consultation fee.
looks like Big Rick swapping to the Pharah here for their dedicated DPS. Char staying on the Tracer. I don't know if that's necessarily the wisest pick. Again, not a champion known for her massive survivability, although perhaps they're counting on her movement abilities to capitalize on something that they see in the Huskies composition or their previous playstyle.
Great starting position here from Char on Kutztown. Getting an early flank here is very possible. Looks like he'll be
Right
trading
on that
spot.
little boat there. She's going Venice style.
We'll be alone over here. I hope that get some value out of this flank. Big Rick on a Pharah here will mean that they can't stay together as a team anymore. I think this is a great pick even against the McCree.
Classic Pharah Mercy combo right there.
Yes, sir. Sponty finding an early death to the world. Probably not what Kutztown had in mind. And they're now going to have to give so much space. You'll see them back off this high ground. You'll see them give it to the Huskies. And if the Huskies are smart, they'll put one on cart here. And they'll have the whole rest of the team push up and keep the space.
Yeah, Kutztown does have to be a little bit careful about where they decide to have their footing. The fact that they have Valkyrie as Lucio on the Huskies means that he can again pull some shenanigans with those boops.
PK Factor getting walled in there early and thrown into 5 players means that this is a free walk in the park point for the Huskies.
Absolute turnaround from the way that we saw the game going this previous match.
I think that was actually a 6-man slam from Sponty there, but because he's got no help, it will mean nothing. The Huskies saying, well, if we're going to get slammed, we're going to get slammed in an area that we want to.
Oh, here comes the Justice.
Justice is served from Big Rick. From
Able
above,
to pick
I
up the
believe.
slack a little bit from Kutztown's end.
This is an incredibly hard comp to play, but it may have the highest skill ceiling, or a higher skill ceiling than the comp that Huskies are playing. So if Kutztown can perform well, they may have a better opportunity to win here. PK Factor again, getting walled off early. It's just a disaster for him. And Mr. God Game doing everything, killing PK Factor and eating that pulse bomb from Char.
Absolutely huge push from the Huskies up on that higher walkway there. Litlow forced to use the Transcendence to try to negate some of the damage coming in from the Huskies to Kutztown. And
Yeah.
Valkyrie goes
In time, and now it looks like it may finally.
Litlow walled off from the rest of the team and the cart with that May wall from Sheep.
Big Rick for a last-second Widowmaker swap. I do like it. It gives your team an opportunity to come back if you go crazy, but the issue is you got to go crazy. And we'll see him switch back onto the Cassidy. Huskies taking a high ground position here with these tanks is a good idea. Looks like Kutztown might beat them to that position though, and they will.
Looks like it's going to be a lot of fighting in that close quarters scenario inside that building.
Yeah, there's just so much damage getting thrown down that one hallway. Now the fight rotating down, and you'll see Sponty gets caught out because he fell down too early. And if
Big
you
Rick
fall down
dropping
too
from
early,
the bridge below to try to get behind them, maybe for some more McCree nonsense, but not able to find much off of it.
it's a surprisingly even fight right now. Looks like Kutztown maybe down a little bit in their resource department. Don't have a lot of damage up, but here comes a Reinhardt. Sponty's coming back. Teams decide to take a ceasefire for just a second here while they regroup.
Looks like we got one ultimate on each side for now right here.
Ultimate's thrown on both sides. Nothing doing Piglet. We'll find Char early, but Sponty responds with a trade on a Valkyrie.
Oh, and there goes
Blackfoot.
Sponty himself, speaking of, and Big Rick. Pico Factor going down too.
Huskies are cleaning out Kutztown here on the second point, getting a lot of free space now. Now we are on a scrim code, which means that when the cart does approach this glowing portion, the map will not end, just so both teams have an opportunity to play out the map. Wow, Huskies just showing tank dominance here on this map, just walling off Kutztown's tanks almost every fight, finding them out of position. Kutztown has got to switch up their game plan right now if they want to survive the rest of this map. They do only, you know, they did burn
for his immortality fields. He's just been able to consistently know the right time and right opportunities to use those.
both teams doing a great job of regrouping and staying together. In Overwatch, you're only as fast as your slowest player, and so here they're making sure that they stay with their players. Wow, a great freeze bomb combo there. PK Factor finding 3 early in this fight, but will it be equal from Mr. Gakame? It won't. Kutztown burning more time off this clock. It's surprising me, despite you know, their first point going so poorly. They appear to be, you know, giving them a good fight here on third point.
Right, it looks like Kutztown is somehow getting their composition or maybe their strategy together in order to hold on to this last point.
He's taking the high ground here, walling off PK Factor, but with those boosters he'll be able to get out. Sponty, the brunt of the damage onto his shield here, and we have Bone Wheel right behind the Huskies. I don't know what he's doing there. Maybe he was expecting to need to save that ultimate for his team in a weird position, but he will save the team. Litlow going down, PK Factor losing his mech. The fight is slowly moving in the way of the Huskies after what might have been a big shatter there from Sponty. Looks like nothing will come of it.
Again, Reveler, I keep saying this, he finds great opportunities to pop that immortality field.
Yeah, he is really doing a great job of saving his team. It's a long cooldown, so that when you use it really does matter. Last second contest here for Kutztown. That freeze will come through and catch 3 or 4 members of the Huskies. And 2 kills will come out. It looks like this may be going in Kutztown's favor, although we do have a shatter coming up for Black Flip. Nothing doing on it. Looks like Sponty was able to block most of it there.
Char with the ice wall coming in to block some shenanigans as well.
Despite that first point blunder from Kutztown, they did come back on that last, holding that third point. Huskies, I mean, that was their map. They did a great job pushing Kutztown, using their ultimates, and most importantly, they blocked off Kutztown's tanks so often. Every team fight, K Factor was getting caught out and out of position. So I'm gonna hop to a quick bathroom break, Austin. Looks like they're gonna be taking a bathroom break as well. So we're gonna be moving to a 5-minute break. Again, you're watching Now Loading Esports, and we'll be right back. And we're back here with more collegiate Overwatch. We've got Now Loading Esports covering some Kutztown Esports scrims. Again, my name is Kanor, and I'll be joined back in a moment by my co-caster Austin. We've seen some exciting Overwatch. It's always exciting with these teams. The Huskies here, great scrim partners for Kutztown as they're giving them quite a good fight. A lot of adaptation in Overwatch scrims. You'll see at the beginning of a scrim that both teams are kind of fishing for, you know, what they want to adapt to and how they want to adapt. And now we're kind of midway through. Right, and this is the meat of the scrim. Teams that do really well midway through are the teams that have adapted well, are the teams that have good morale, and can keep it, which is another big one. And so, I mean, Blizzard World is a map I haven't played in a while. I'm excited to see kind of what strategies they have. It looks like Huskies are going to be keeping their you know, same comp here. Kutztown did pretty well with the Pharah, despite losing, you know, tanks early, but I believe Austin is back. Are you there?
I am indeed back.
Oh, man, these hallowed halls are so quiet. Not like co-caster. So, Kutztown just getting ready here. Looks like They have another player still in the bathroom. We have some banter between the teams. Some more updates on the Overwatch 2 situation from last week. It was originally leaked that the players on these Overwatch League teams would be playing Overwatch 2 for the first time on stage during their first match, which was not a great look. And then it was later corrected that they would be receiving an early copy of the game 2 weeks before the league starts in May. I believe it's May 4th or 5th that they start. So looking to see like what really the difference is with missing that one tank. We'll be at 5v5 in Overwatch 2.
Attackers incoming.
And we're getting into it here.
Defend objective A.
On Blizzard World, Kutztown on the offense. Huskies on this high ground defense here. Kutztown could just rotate all the way to point right now, and there's nothing that they could do about it. Sponty
Looks
is
like
gonna be
Sponty just managed to sneak by their defense completely. They don't even notice he's there, it looks like.
They're gonna be getting a free tick here, guaranteed. They may actually get two.
He's
The Diva
honestly
can't
just
get
sitting
over.
there. The
Oh,
Lucio
wow.
and the Diva finally catch on.
It was a lost fight on the books here, but if you look at this, Kutztown got a tick, and look at the ult percentage on both teams. It's equal, right? Not a lot of people died there, right? One player died on the side of Kutztown, so not a lot of ult charge for either side. Sponty, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's trying it again, and you know what it does? It forces them off of that high ground. Char will get caught off and sent to space with that Mei wall. Sponty with another
rolling
big slam.
around on that little alcove.
Yeah, he did get a lot of value out of that slam, but his team wasn't there to get even more value off it, and he gets out with his life, getting
A little singled
in front
out in
of a
that
Mei.
little bottom room there.
That's horrifying for him. In front of the Mei and the McCree's gotta be scary, because there's just like almost nothing he could do to defend himself in a small room like that. Huskies have to rotate back out, and they will. I like the strategy that they're using. They're kind of being little trapdoor spiders, and now that Kutztown has seen them use all of their big movement abilities, they're going to come right back on a point. And, you know, Valkyrie's the only one who can get there quick, and it looks like he will.
Big Rick and Bonewheel trying to get some real estate with that classic Pharah Mercy combination.
Yeah, the Huskies are doing a great job of only coming out when they're ready to. Here
I
comes
think
that
they're
ultimate
very
from Big
aware
Rick.
of that massive splash damage potential. Big Rick gets shot down from the Justice.
It was a great, assuming Kutztown will win this fight, which I think it's starting to go in the way of the Huskies here. These ultimates are getting them a lot of value, but Char is showing that prowess on the Tracer. That was like an incredible first couple of fights there. Like, I would love to rewatch those. So much was happening. Both teams were rotating very well, and I mean very well. Huskies making use of that cover to stay away from that Pharah, and Kutztown only touching the point when the Huskies aren't there. Kind of a little bit of back and forth there, and now Big Rick finding a lot of free space here for him to push up. This is going to be a great second point for him, right? He just has to be careful with that Cassidy ultimate high noon from Pickle Piglet here. If he gets too high up in the air, he can get caught out really quickly. And the Huskies are rotating underneath here.
Big Rick does have a lot of real estate in the sky, but like you said, that also leaves him a little bit more open.
Are just kind of using that pulse bomb to get the immortality field out of Rebler. Now Rebler's caught out a little bit up in front here. Looks like he will find some safety behind his tank.
Nice combination there from the PK Factor as well as Bonewheel.
That sharpshooter Mei Sheep getting finally taken out by Big Rick there. He's been getting a lot of headshots on this character, and Big Rick hovering on top of that little poster board there, finding two kills as they walk out. But if you'll notice, we have a lot of ultimates on the side of the Huskies now. The car is getting pushed, but they'll definitely have time to recontest this as a team. They're gonna have to come out together, and Big Rick's looking for a sneaky ultimate from this high ground in the mid fight.
Looks like we
Mr.
got 3 ultimates on each side, although Sponty is coming up on that charge.
Just 2 ultimates just kind of getting thrown by Kutztown, only finding 1, and it looks like it may slowly work out for them as Big Rick's just getting so much value on this Pharah. There's just not a lot that the Huskies can do at this point. They're trying to get to cart, but there was just so much space and open space between them and the cart that there was just so much damage that got thrown early. Kutztown taking a lot of space here early. I mean, what do the Huskies have to do here to get some footing on defense here? They've just been getting pushed back by Kutztown really slowly. Every team
Looks
fight.
like Big Rick knew what he was doing when picking Pharah on this map.
Yeah, Litlow had that high ground there. Big Rick unable to protect him, forcing the Transcendence out. But I mean, a lot of ultimates on both teams still here. It's down, getting the res off. I guess it wasn't that risky as the Huskies were all in the spawn, but getting a free res off here, them rotating together, it's got to be really scary for people like Rebler here. If they get caught behind and they're outside of their own Lucio speed boost, it's just going to mean death for them. Pickle Piglet finding the Fair Mercy combo with that high noon is big.
Yeah, Kutztown has definitely been getting a lot of utility from that classic combo.
I can I can tell that Sponte has been practicing this wrecking ball quite a bit because
Mr. Got Game coming in with a self-destruct there.
Does find one. This might mean enough players alive that Kutztown will be forced to push back, and they do. So that was a great use of that ultimate. We'll find 1, and a 1 is enough for them. Char on the flank here without a pulse bomb, maybe just looking for a player out of position, but honestly the Huskies have done such a great job that staying together is their modus operandi here. A little bit of back cap tomfoolery here from Char and Sponty trying to find the Huskies snoozing on the cart. But Mr. Got Game doing his job there. Blackflip rotating back with his team here, and they'll find Char out. And this is bad news for Kutztown. That's a lot of time for that team fight to just go to waste.
Oh, Sponty coming in with the slam down.
Nothing from the self-destruct from the PK factor here. Huskies using a bit of a fortification ultimate from that sound barrier on Valkyrie, who will fall to Litlow. Looks like he got a little overzealous in their backline, going red
trying
shell
to
mode.
engage with Blackflip, and Mr. Got Game manages to take them out with some help from Sponty.
Kutztown approaching this final area here. They got to get out quick, and the Huskies are just too slow to rotate. And
they've
not gonna
got
get
those
any clears.
mines right outside that door.
Oh, that was it. I was wondering why they decided to go out the other door, and I honestly think it would have been smarter just to kind of push through it, take the damage on a Reinhardt shield or something, maybe lose your Diva mech, because it cost them that touch there. They were unable to get there in time. All right, what do you think on defense here we'll see from Kutztown? Do you think they're going to go back to that Torbjorn that they do like, or do you think they're going to stick to more of that Mei McCree composition?
Hard to say. I think the reason why the Torbjorn worked back in Nepal is because that map does have a lot more close quarters areas than Blizzard World. Blizzard World, you know, it does have some close quarters areas, but Nepal is a much bigger map for those kinds of interactions. I'm not sure if they would get as much utility from that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, but it looks like they might be trying a bit of a gadget defense here. 2 dive tanks. We've got the Zenyatta to discord whatever target that Sponty will slam here. This whole composition is built entirely on the Wrecking Ball slam Tracer Diva Pharah damage combo, and we'll see Sponty on defense here, probably try to swing through this choke point or somewhere close behind it and land on someone. And we'll see damage follow from Char. Char's gonna have to position close enough to get damage in quickly, and the Huskies have to respond even quicker if they want to survive. The damage that comes from this composition, I believe that they learned from Drexel, is immense. It's a lot to deal with.
And I think that might be part of the reason why we see Pickle Piglet switching off to that Symmetra in the start here, maybe trying to get a little bit of extra positioning to maybe get around or avoid some of this massive damage that you're talking about.
I think either this is to get his team out immediately, which I think it is, or if they're trying some really spicy techniques, they might be thinking that Kutztown is playing that Mei composition, and they might want to try to teleport past them if they think that that's the case. So it looks like they're just going to use it to get up there really quick. I do like this. We don't see a lot of teams, we don't see enough teams really using the teleport on the beginning here to get up past these stairs. The only issue is it does expose you pretty quickly to a wider angle of the choke point. So if they do have an Ashe who's you know being damage boosted by Mercy, or if they do have a Widowmaker on that back high ground, it can be dangerous. But assuming you know they're adapting as well as I think they are, I don't think that they're thinking that Kutztown's gonna run either of those, because we haven't seen a lot of them tonight.
Interesting pick on the Widowmaker from Sheep. You know, as you mentioned, he was doing a great job finding some headshots as the Mei, and maybe trying to capitalize on that by picking the resident sniper of the Overwatch universe.
Oh, I like it. So their idea there was to try to teleport the Widowmaker up and get a bit of a cheeky one-shot opportunity right at the beginning, but it looks like it didn't work out for them. The spam from Big Rick was enough to thwart that. We have Sponty here with a very close positioning. Again, he wants to get a big slam here.
Coming in from behind with that rush.
Oh, so much damage from Big Rick on those characters who got rolled through. And it's just
on
too
the
much.
Mei.
Yeah, there's that immense damage we were speaking about earlier. It's just so much. And it's so spread out too that it's hard to pinpoint exactly who you want to go after. This is a frustrating comp to go against because it's hard to tell who you're supposed to shoot at when you're getting shot at by all these people. We've got Sponty here again up front, looking for another one of these. We'll see if the Huskies react with this time with the Sombra. Sombra's looking for him.
We got Char sneaking in there as well, maybe trying to capitalize off of that disruption that Sponty is trying to cause for the Huskies.
I like this move. I do like this move from the Huskies. They said, screw it, we're going to go right to the point. We're going to bring the fight to the objective. And it's working out for them a little bit here. They're finding a lot of damage. And now that Kutztown has no healers, it's just a matter of time before they take both these players out. That Sombra pick shutting down Sponty, and he'll probably either keep his ultimate for this next fight, or he'll switch off right now. It's so hard to play Wrecking Ball into a Sombra and survive.
Well, those hacking abilities definitely don't help.
Yeah, it just shuts him down. It turns him into a bit of a sitting duck. Sheep here looking to maybe hack Sponty here. He sees him in this corner, and he's waiting for his team to come over to capitalize on it, and it looks like they're still waiting. He's
having a little confrontation in this little building. They're going back and forth.
Wow, that playing the long game there will pay off for Sheep. I do love that idea. It's a great move.
Smart
and now
play,
Sheep
hacking that health pack regeneration spot and that building, and just choosing to have that entire interaction right there.
Yeah, Sheep pushing up even further and getting Litlow down to a mere 5 HP. He will get help from his team in time to get out, and Sheep playing a safer game, but will get caught. I guess his translocator was found by Char, and that just leaves Kutztown with a bunch of players that can take out Sponty.
Although they just managed to take down 3 of the Huskies.
Yeah, spinning to win. Sponty on that thing will take 3 of them out, and Kutztown buys themselves another 15 seconds off the clock for free.
And it looks like they've got 5 ultimates here to play with, so they can pretty much do basically whatever they want with them.
Sheep here looking for a hack, maybe on the Pharah, now that he knows the Pharah has the ult. And here it comes. We'll stop him, and Big Rick will fall from the heavens without that jetpack, right into the loving arms of the Huskies. Bonewheel does get out with his life, and he does have Valkyrie here, so there's an opportunity for Kutztown to have a defensive ult, 2 defensive ults here on this last hold of second point. Huskies playing inside. It's very smart for them to play inside right now. They don't want to take damage from this Pharah too early. Very impressed with their rotations tonight.
They're employing some of that same tactic that you were talking about earlier, about them kind of cave spidering their way in and out of buildings to, you know, shield themselves from that splash damage from Big Rick on the Pharah.
Yeah, and it works for them. They get close enough with enough health on all their characters that it's just too much for Kutztown to deal with as a whole, and they slowly lose the fight. Kutztown did win that, or Kutztown did win a couple extra seconds off the time, but they did lose the fight. We'll see Sheep here. Oh, Bonewheel probably, yeah, switching
Off
here.
to the Lucio.
Announcing the switch with the use of the Valkyrie. Interesting decision just not to keep it and to switch, assuming, and they also did switch onto a Torbjorn here, try to avoid those hacks from the Sombra.
Maybe they will be able to find some utility from that auto turret on this map. This is a pretty good spot to put it down. They got some good corners and vantage points to have that damage just come out.
I do like that a lot, but that's a great placement of that amplification matrix. See how much space that it just bought for their tanks to push up and save Valkyrie from that spot. It'll push Kutztown back enough to give them this corner, which is what they need in a 6-man
Oh, here comes
EMP.
the giant hack from Sheep.
An incredible, that was a 6-man EMP there from Sheep, like you just mentioned, and that forces Kutztown backwards. So much damage comes in during that because they can't prevent it with that immortality. And Kutztown
Back
just
in the
getting
corner
rolled here.
at the absolute end of this point. If they don't contest this, the Huskies could take the win here.
Comes that Molten Core out from Char, just trying to put it on the cart and around the cart. Won't find any value out of it.
Absolutely throwing everything that they have at the wall. It does not look like anything will stick.
And that was a great match. I mean, Kutztown manages to push in overtime, and the Huskies there, with a little bit of time left on the clock there, would push this proverbial map score to 2-2. This is a great scrim. I know they found this one pretty late, but this will probably be very valuable for them. They're going to have a lot of VoDs. Last week was really, really unlucky because Overwatch had an update the day after, and as you Overwatch players know, if Overwatch updates, you lose all of your replays. And they had some great games, and I'm sure that they were mad that they didn't get an opportunity to look at them once more. All right, Austin, moving over to Route 66. What are you expecting in composition changes from these teams?
Well, I can definitely understand the switch from Big Rick onto the Ana on this map. Definitely a great pick for the Route 66 map. You've got these wide open areas to kind of pick those nice accurate shots at the Huskies.
Yeah, a lot of longer sight lines here. Not as vertical as a map as we saw in Blizzard World. There are some places there that high ground will be really valuable for Big Rick on that Ash. We did see Litlo switch off of the Ana to the Zenyatta. I do love the Zenyatta Brig backline. It's a very slept on composition because people assume that there's not a lot of healing that can come through with it, but
although Bonewheel looks like it just switched off to the Mercy again.
They're simply doing a bit of trolling, if you would. Speaking of doing a little bit of trolling, the Huskies are getting ready to surprise attack Kutztown again. They didn't do it last map. They gave them a break, a mental break from the Havana incident, and now we're gonna see them trying it again. This is definitely a a more standard place to surprise people. I think Havana was a bit of a real actual surprise. This map you have a lot of places to stand where your whole team can hide behind a wall on a high ground, and yeah, excuse me, the Huskies.
And the
Kutztown-
composition from the Huskies definitely makes sense if they're trying to take advantage of those vantage points on Route 66, like you were mentioning. They've got the Lucio from Valkyrie as well as Blackflip on the Reinhardt. Both of those characters very skilled at pushing characters off the map if they get the right opportunity.
Like it. We do have the Reaper from Big Rick here. He's trying to force a close team fight here, and looks like he may be playing a little bit more defensively to protect his supports. Huskies are stuck now as a 6-man team inside this little area.
Inside that busted shipping container.
Yeah. Char will push the cart just enough to try to force a couple players off of there. It looks like Char's going to be continuing that. Fight is breaking out on a lot of sides. Big Rick almost gets pushed off the edge there by Valkyrie. Great job
Manages
using
to
the
teleport out of the way before that happens.
Yeah. Huskies starting to take an advantage here, but won't prevent the res from Bone Wheel, and Char will be back in the game.
Oh, but not for too long. Okay, as I say that, he got back. Okay, never mind, he's dead. He went
Spending
from
some
0
time.
to res to 0 again, and then just died.
Spending some time in limbo is Char here, between life and death.
Maybe like 2 or 3 times there.
Oh my goodness. The tanks on Kutztown are fumbling the bag right now.
We see a Doomfist swap.
Yeah, we do on offense here. It might be just to kind of get them out of this container. As they're struggling with this, I'm surprised I haven't seen a swap onto a more spam character like a Junkrat or a Pharah, just to kind of get them out of this container. I do like PK Factor on Sigma here. As you see, he already used the Gravitic Flux, not to a lot of value, but he's already got another one on board, and he can hit 6 people here if he's smart. Again, whiffing, Huskies responding incredibly well to that ultimate.
Valkyrie with that Lucio boost.
Yeah, that's keeping his team up through that Death Blossom from Big Rick. Huskies are doing excellent here. They do.
They're just hugging that container.
Yeah, I feel like they're missing a player in there. Are they not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Where's their 6th player? I don't know. Maybe I'm miscounting. There we go. There's that swap onto the Pharah that they needed, just to kind of get a.
From Char
better
though,
angle.
I'm surprised to see that from Char. We haven't
That's
seen
true.
him swap off to the Pharah yet.
Yeah, we saw just there that slam from Sponty, putting Pickle Piglet in the air during his high noon. Sheep buying his team a little bit of extra time. Here comes the wall, and there he goes. Up to Horizon Lunar Colony with you. Char pushing up here, taking this high ground. Really great spot for Pharah, right? A lot of
real estate.
Yeah, a ton of
It's
space
free
for
real
him to
estate.
shoot. It is free real estate for Kutztown here. They're going to be spreading out on all these high grounds. I love this position. It forces the Huskies to get shot at from a bunch of different angles, and they're going to be playing inside the gas station, which is exactly what they should do here. Low-key kind of wasting that Mei ultimate, preemptively using it before they were checking for players.
Bonti and the Sigma doing a good job kind of shielding their teammates from some of that damage.
Yeah, Blackflip just trying to keep his team from taking all this poke damage inside this gas station. Is probably furiously yelling at them to get behind his shield. And they will get 2 picks here, so Kutztown forced to kind of over-rotate here as they're defending. Huskies managed to push Kutztown even further back now. This is great for them because with 7 seconds left and kills in the kill feed on the side of the Huskies, this is bad news for Kutztown. Big Rip with the last second touch, he'll get it, use the recall, Bone Wheel
Oh,
will
but
have
they've
to
been knocked off again. Okay, they just renewed the overtime, but can they manage to keep that going?
Wow.
Looks like not. Huskies were able to clutch that defense.
That was a great show that they just put on. I'm impressed with that defense as, you know, first point Route 66 is not necessarily the easiest one to defend. You don't see a lot of first point holds on this map, or on any map to begin with, so probably Kutztown's probably a little bit embarrassed right now. That strategy worked for them for too long.
Maybe hitting themselves over that dastardly shipping container.
Um, Kutztown used to run a dive defense on first point here, and it looks like because of the meta shifts, we won't be seeing that, but we will be seeing a reverse usage of this strategy. I can guarantee you that Huskies are ready for this, and they're aware of the switches on characters they're gonna have to make to successfully hold these guys in their spawn room on offense.
Yeah, and it looks like a couple of Huskies players actually saw some of the Kutztown crew walking into that shipping container, so I don't think it's going to be any surprise. And you see Sheep with the Sombra going immediately behind. He's well aware that they're all hanging out in there.
The small window of time here that Kutztown needs to use while that Sombra was in spawn, and they will use it. Sombra switches off to the Pharah. It's just that switch that they needed. And you know, like I said earlier, they know what characters they need to be on to counter this. They've got the Hanzo. Look, they've committed 3 characters to breaking this defense. They've got the 2 now. They've swapped off the Hanzo, but they did have that Sigma and the Hanzo and the Pharah just to spam up in there and make it impossible for Kutztown to survive. Kutztown's taking advantage of an out-of-position player here, trying to push them, but it won't work out for them. They're going to go back up and into the shipping container, but Litlo will get caught out here. He needs protection from his tanks, and he won't get it in time. Huskies finding their main healer on Kutztown, really important.
Huskies doing an absolutely great job pushing this payload. An absolute reversal of what we saw happen to Kutztown. They were able to push it along a little bit, but they just weren't able to make it to that last tick to be able to take the point.
That was, I will say, a great adaptation from them. While it didn't happen on the first go, I mean, they were pushing so quickly that Mr. Got Game basically wasn't even there and was just sitting on cart the whole time, pushing it forward, kind of undoing that strategy that Kutztown had sitting in that shipping container. A huge slam, a humongous slam from Mr. Got Game, and Mines will follow with it, cutting Litlo off from his team. Kutztown trading 1-for-1 here. Big Rick finding an interestingly close teleport onto a Pharah. I'm not sure this is the fight he wants to pick, but he's picking it nonetheless.
I don't think shotguns beat rocket launchers in many scenarios.
Yeah, especially rocket launchers at a very far distance. Big Rick, I would expect to see him to use his ultimate here and then switch off, but looks like he values the swap more, and he'll be switching off to that Cassidy, to the Sombra, actually. Litlo
maybe managing to hack that other Pharah.
Yeah, I think maybe clipping the wings off the Pharah or the Mercy, really, maybe enough for Kutztown to push in safely. They're holding this cart pretty close here. I do like this, but they're vulnerable to that high ground on that left side. I'm hoping that they see this and maybe put a player up there to try to deter them. Looks like the Huskies won't be taking advantage of it anyway. Bonte doing what he does best, just being a disruptive little rat. Trying to keep the supports of the Huskies busy, and Litlo takes a lot of damage early from 2 flanking players, one of them being a Zenyatta. Rebler is in the enemy spawn. He's doing their taxes right now, and Big Rick says, you're not me, don't do my taxes, and get out of here. Pushes him right out really quick.
Is coming through.
Yeah, he did try it, and he did a lot of damage to Litlo there, but it didn't work out. Sheep will find one there. Sponty getting shot in the back from Pickle Piglet. Big Rick in the back line looking for something here, but he can't do it alone. Looking to find one character out of line, and Sheep will find one in trade.
Looks like
with
PK Factors
Tar.
might be in some trouble here.
We're seeing a self-destruct that will get him out of that trouble temporarily, but Rebler will take him out.
And
before he can
Litlo
be
going
back.
down as well.
Rebler has been doing work on the second point here, pushing up in crazy places, showing that he's not afraid to be on this movementless character of Zenyatta, especially against a Sombra and a Tracer, just absolute Giga Chad on the cart.
Well, I mean, he does have that Orb of Discord, and if he manages to aim those charged orbs, he can do a lot of damage very quickly.
Right, you gotta watch out. I mean, Zenyatta's danger meter spikes really often, and Rebler is gonna get hacked and immediately taken out. 120,
4
150
hacks,
damage
maybe
to him.
5 hacks on that.
Yeah, that was a great use of the translocator to get in there and the EMP to guarantee that those players can't get out for a couple seconds. We saw
Managed
Big
to
Rick.
get 3 picks on that.
Yeah, the first of which being that Zenyatta on Rebler, who does switch over from the Giga Chad Zen over to the BAP. We saw him immediately go after him with that EMP because it does 150 damage. It removes all those shields, and basically 2 melees will do it after that. So we'll see a swap.
Big Rick getting hacked himself by Sheep.
Goss barely manages to get out with his life, and Kutztown with this on a swap is going to make sure that their tanks are able to get healed from a really far distance. It's hard with the BAP to keep the team up from a distance, but now this positioning from Litlo on the high ground is trouble for the Huskies here. They're going to have to deal with this. They may throw the Sombra after him, but there's only a minute left.
Mr. Got Game definitely needs to find a way to get in there with the Diva in order to disrupt this this healing combo from Kutztown.
Yeah, he's just getting a lot of value from this position, right? He's very safe, and he can provide a long range of healing for his team. Char will throw that pulse bomb, but nothing happens with it. The immortality field's gone for Huskies, and there's an anti-grenade from Kutztown.
Valkyrie coming in and finally disrupting Litlo's positioning up on that Route 66 walkway.
We'll see a self-destruct to try to keep him in his mech, but PK Factor will get taken out before it blows up. Kutztown
Big Rick goes down.
Fracturing. Yeah, with Big Rick down here, this is bad news for them. They don't have another contester on this point unless Sponty can get there. He's taking the long way. Will
He
get
does
there in
have his
time?
ult on deck. We'll see if that'll be enough.
Gonna have to swing in here and get something done. Char will be, looks like, maybe the first one to touch. Or going after Valkyrie in the backline, who has his ultimate almost online.
Maybe trying to get an early pick to prevent that ultimate from coming up, but does not manage to take the Lucio before he manages to get that boost off. An absolutely huge amount of health and shielding on the Huskies from that ultimate.
2 EMPs, 2 sound barriers from both sides there, but it looks like the Huskies will come out on top. Both Lucios, I will say, doing a great job avoiding getting hit by that EMP so that they can save their team with that sound barrier. Litlo getting caught out basically with his pants down all the way in spawn. Probably was not expecting those characters on the Huskies to be all the way that far forward. And it was a great aggressive move by them.
Right, Sheep and Mr. Got Game definitely have the abilities and movement characteristics to take advantage of that.
Char alone on cart trying to defend it while Kutztown defends the rest of the players. A great anti-grenade from Litlo there. We'll find 2 of them, but the damage just isn't there for Kutztown. And
Rebler again with that immortality field, just eating that damage for breakfast.
Yeah, really MVP on the second and third point so far. Again, just doing a great job. Big Rick behind, not quite with an EMP yet. He's working towards it. Char with a pulse bomb here from behind. He's looking for something important, maybe on the Lucio, but he got found by Pickle Piglet and a great flashbang headshot from him. PK Factor again with the nano boost diva bomb. We'll try to find something or anything for his team.
that amplification field is gonna manage to block some of that.
Yeah, that BAP ability getting used right at the right time, but Kutztown's grouped together a little bit more here. Mr. Got Game's caught out. And now Blackflip getting shattered before he can reach the cart with that charge. I'm not sure that they'll be able to finish this map out here. Kutztown just has too many players here.
Big Rick, again, with that massive EMP wave, just taking advantage of that huge area of effect in order to shut down so many characters' abilities.
Starting to eat my words here. That ultimate from Pickle Piglet bought their team enough time on space on the cart that their respawns are able to come in, and Kutztown's waiting to fall here to the Huskies on this last point. They had that fight, they had this point locked down, and two key ultimates from the side of the Huskies may mean
Car
that
coming in to
Kutztown's not able
try to reverse this trend here.
That was a turnaround from the Huskies. That is value from your ultimates right there. Looks like we may be going into the last map of the evening. I mean, that one was pretty close. Right when both teams walked out to spawn, and then as soon as the Huskies got further than Kutztown, they did push it all the way. So the final map of the evening here will be Ilios. What can you tell me about this King of the Hill madness map?
Well, I can say definitely a classic map. As far as I remember, one of the maps that came out along with launching this game back in 2016, when I just graduated high school, definitely throws me back.
Speaking of throwing it back, we have Winston's on both sides. I'm super excited to see.
Oh, and 2 tracers as well.
Yeah, I apologize to the viewers. I just had to bring it up. I'd love to see this Winston on the side of both teams, but my gut tells me we'll be switching back to a May comp. The high ground on this map here may be just enough for these teams to want to pick more of a Winston composition, but who knows what's going to happen here. Looks like we may be jumping to a little bit of a break, and so we'll be back in just a couple minutes with some more Kutztown Overwatch hosted by Now Loading Esports.
Both teams unexpectedly getting their squads ready. Looks like a huge interaction in this part of the Ilios map. Kutztown struggling to get a foothold on this classic map here. The Huskies are doing a great job by locking this down, locking them down in this portion of the map, not able to get much further. Great positioning here from Blackflip. He's kind of just hanging around, does not have the rest of his team in order to support him, and gets called out by Kutztown's DPS.
Yeah, Big Rick getting 3 kills there. And we will see the double bubble composition here from Kutztown. We've got the bubble on the Winston and the bubble from the Zarya. Try to enable that Winston to stay in a little bit longer. I do like the Ana break pick. It'll protect that Ana from the incoming tanks. And here they come. Litlow forced off that high ground there, but will survive.
Another huge interaction in this little corner of Ilios. Huskies doing a good job. Again, just keeping that area absolutely locked down. Although Kutztown is starting to find a little bit of footing here with that Winston bubble with Char and Big Rick.
Resistance is finally met. Sponty will find his demise to the hand of Sheep. He pushed way too far. He got a little bit greedy there. And now Sheep using this tactical visor, I'm assuming just to kind of let his team capture the point. Kind of forcing that space away from Kutztown.
and they're able to take back this absolute stranglehold they have on this little corner in Ilios. It seems like the rest of this map just does not exist for huge interactions.
A great use of ultimate combo there from Kutztown with the grab pulse bomb. Char finding 3 with that pulse bomb. That was good. Big Rick opening that fight up with the suicide of the enemy tracer and the DMech onto Mr. Gotgame. We'll see Sheep switch over from the soldier onto an Echo. With a McCree and without a pocket, this might be dangerous. He's gonna have to play this very safe, but he could do it.
Yeah, that pick definitely vulnerable against characters like McCree. He's got that hit scan pistol. If he gets a good shot, can get called out while flying in the air.
The tanks on Kutztown doing just a good job of keeping the pressure on the enemy tanks before they're able to push in. Kind of outplaying them on this map so far. 99 to 35 right now. Huskies on their back foot. Only 3 players here to defend for the Huskies. Kutztown having all 6. I count 5 now. Sheep getting a pick there. Might mean that his
Valkyrie
team has
unleashing
enough
that
time.
rallying cry to try to get some real estate for the Huskies. It looks like they might be able to take this point back and go into overtime. Finally getting some purchase on that point in order to make sure this game does not end quite yet.
Kutztown kind of fumbled there in the end zone. They had an opportunity to prevent that break from getting in, and after that break got in, all those players on the side of the Husky were able to keep them, keep themselves in the fight. Brigida's passive, Inspire, keeping the team up. Brig gets so much healing. I think people sleep often on the amount of healing that Brig can get in the middle of a fight. It's just that poke damage before a fight that Kutztown has to do to prevent that Brig from getting a lot of healing. Great bubble to save Bonewheel from the pulse bomb of Pickle Piglet.
Bonte doing an absolutely great job with that placement.
That grab there from PK Factor was very questionable. I think he was expecting Blackflip to stay alive a little bit longer, but he just got melted really quick by Kutztown. And now we've got a Tracer and tank battle on the point here.
Pigflip does got his ultimate on deck. He could use that to a massive advantage if he can manage to get those huge monkey paws to throw some Kutztown members off of the side of the map here.
Sheep starting out the fight with a kill on Big Rick while he's ulting on that Cassidy. And Sponty trying to juggle Blackflip off the point, and will do a pretty good job at taking his health down at least. Valkyrie, the desperate member of Huskies, back on point, but keep in mind it's 99-99 here, so the Huskies, if they do end up losing this map, did not falter in their game plan.
2 of the Huskies team members do get picked off there.
Kutztown's just really struggling with taking these last players out. They do have the numbers, but they get pushed off! It's an absolute disaster! Oh wait, I thought, okay, woo!
I think they just managed to hold on for that much longer.
Kutztown did have the point. I was under the impression that the Huskies had the point, and with that boop from Mr. Godgame got pushed off, but kind of a reverse C9 there for all you viewers at home. Big Rick getting destroyed at the start of that last fight. Sheep on the Doomfist is a bit of a menace on that map. Excited to see how they switch onto this last point. We do only have one more map after this one on Ilios, and then the scrim is over. So these teams are trying to get their last words in with each other.
Yeah, these 2 teams have definitely been going back and forth this entire match.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of adaptation on both sides. We originally saw that Torbjorn pick from Kutztown on Nepal. Then we saw a switch to Sombra to stop the ball of Kutztown. We're seeing a lot of back and forth switches here, and that's what makes Overwatch great. Is we're that game that can, you know, you could switch characters in the middle of the game. You know, imagine League of Legends if when you died you could switch your champion. I mean, that's the biggest selling point here for Overwatch, and that's what these teams are utilizing, which is great.
Double Sombra pick here on Ilios. Both teams maybe trying to get a bit of extra real estate with those teleports. Big Rick immediately switching back to the Reaper. I like the Reaper pick on this map. Classic map for Reaper. He's got a lot of different areas to go crazy with those double shotguns in close quarter situations.
He's got a lot of. He's gonna have to work with his team here, though. He does have a lot of spam from the enemies that is dangerous. Kutztown executing a good dive that does get 1 kill, but I mean, the Huskies were already up 2 players, and now it's just gonna slowly go in their direction. That was a great first fight for them. That was a nice long fight. They got a lot of ult charge out of it. But the only issue is they didn't capture the point before Kutztown got on it. If only they had captured it earlier, they might be at 12, 15% now.
PK Factor kind of getting caught unawares there. Tried to rush in to maybe get a little bit of tick for Kutztown, but all by himself just gets absolutely melted.
Yeah, that was not a great fight for them. The tanks did execute a good dive, but it just didn't end up working out for them because they had already lost a player. Kutztown taking advantage of Rebler's position here, and a 4-man dive onto him will mean his death. Pickle Piglet does respond back with a pulse bomb on a Sponty, but Kutztown is up 1 player right now. It's almost anybody's fight. PK Factor losing his mech brings Huskies a little bit closer to actually winning this fight, and now Char's caught out alone.
And the Tracer making a nice combination now on the Sombra.
Kutztown manages to stay together, but you see they don't have any real tanks on the field right now. PK Factor without a mech really isn't much of a tank. Sponty will swoop back in to try to save the day. And now
Are
Kutztown
getting
still
melted by that orb of discord. Sponty now has that debuff on him, although he's able to lose it.
Yeah, that is a scary thing to have on you, especially as a Winston. You're such a big target that it's so easy for your whole health to go away really quickly. Mr. Godgame misclicking his slam there, probably didn't mean to do it, and it will cost him his life. Kutztown still does not own the point. You know, 70% there for the Huskies. Even though Kutztown was winning those fights, that's a lot of value. It's a lot of return for them off of what they invested. So the Huskies really far ahead in percent here so far.
Although now that you say that, Kutztown is now managing to get some claim on that point.
22% here for Kutztown. Sheep will find a great early pick there on that focusing beam from Echo, a very powerful ability. And Kutztown will try to use that EMP to push forward, but it doesn't mean a lot for them. They're only going to find 1 kill with it. And
Big Rick
Kutztown's
swapping to
slowly falling.
Tracer.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to get back as quickly as he can and try to help his team keep this point for as long as they can. They need
Litlow,
this
PK
percent.
Factor, and Sponty all fell.
Yeah, that wasn't great for Kutztown, and it's also not great as they didn't try to contest there. They could have maybe gotten another 15% out of those 2 players that were still alive. But they decided to just reset. I wonder if that was a tactical decision there or if it was something that the Huskies made for them.
Maybe trying to have a nice concerted final push on this point, but it could be to their detriment.
Bonewheel gets caught out a little bit here, taking a little bit of damage, but he will find the safety of his Diva. A big slam here from Mr. Godgame means a lot of damage out on Kutztown, more pressure on the supports. We're fighting in 6 different places here. Welcome to Collegiate Overwatch. It's impossible
and here
to cast.
comes the self-destruct from Sheep coming into that building.
This is an even fight still. Teams still have enough players to survive. Kutztown just wants to flip this point over so they can start getting percent.
Rebler and Mr. Godgame falling in that interaction.
Kutztown does not have a great means of dealing with this Mercy combo with the Echo. They're just too high up. Kutztown just doesn't have, you know, a close range projectile or a long range hit scan to deal with it. And so Sheep and Valkyrie must be feeling pretty free up there in the sky. It took Kutztown a while to kill him.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised to see that the DPS players are not swapping off to a character like Anna or like McCree to shoot those characters down.
Kutztown kind of rotating together here, but Lidlow caught out alone using his ultimate, cannot use Fade. He will manage to get out and onto a high ground that did change Moira's Fade so she can jump very high while she was in it. Lidlow making use of that new change.
But Bone Wheel does manage to get knocked out during that little interaction there.
Yeah, I think it was an unintentional fall from Grace there that sent him into some mines. I'm sure he has a tax write-off for those skates under his feet. I hope he didn't pay too much for those because they don't work. Kutztown pushing through here with that EMP, finding 1 or 2 of the Huskies with it. Bonewheel the sole man back for a second to contest 2 players on the side of the Huskies, but Kutztown might be turning a map that looked pretty grim for them at the beginning into something of a win. Mr. Gotgame, the last remaining person, and he won't get there. So much back and forth there. These team fights are absolute madness. There is just damage and heals getting thrown everywhere. Ultimates getting thrown everywhere. We're on to the last encounter of the evening. I'd love to see some Widowmaker. This is a classic Widowmaker map.
Looks like Big Rick looks like Big Rick is taking the other sharpshooter of Overwatch with the Hanzo.
Yeah, we did recently see a Hanzo change to add back his Ricochet into the game. His Storm arrows now Ricochet instead of just hitting the wall and disappearing, which is great. Especially on payload maps, you can utilize that to shoot underneath the cart, and it may help your team, you know, take out those players who are really low on health and are hiding behind there. It looks like he won't be picking the Hanzo here. That Sombra's been working for Kutztown. They've been capitalizing on some hacked targets and some EMP value. You know, if it ain't broke, I mean, I guess it was broke for a little while on the last map, but they managed to bring it back. We'll see what happens here. We do have the Moira pick again, looking just to kind of stay alive longer as a support.
Looks like almost a mirror matchup here, except for the Reaper on the Huskies side.
Yeah, the Symmetra on Kutztown might just be a utility at the beginning here. Probably going to switch over to a Tracer, I'd expect. Reaper will do just as well on this map. There's a lot of places that your team can hold close corners. A lot of places that Reaper can teleport, so... Let's see, Kutztown teleporting out and switching over to that Tracer. Will beat Huskies. Just kidding, actually.
They managed to get there at almost the exact same time. Both Winstons popping their bubbles. Also, Valkyrie almost falling off that edge there, but manages to skate back to safety.
Yeah. Kutztown, I suppose, didn't see it happen. I'm sure if they did, they would have probably pressed W, used some movement abilities to try to get in there. Huskies putting pressure on the point, doing what they do best on point.
Kutztown forced to take this higher position, not exactly the best position for them to be in.
Yeah, they're keeping this high ground. I think that they're choosing just to win the fight and take maybe a loss of a couple % on point instead. Now they're moving over to the point, trying to clean it off. But I will say tonight, Kutztown has been very slow with their cleanup. So slow sometimes that it even cost them a game like it did on Route 66. And I mean, Kutztown maybe could have gotten out with, you know, only giving them 18%, but now with 25, Huskies have lost the first fight, but won in %. Sheep already has his EMP online. Incredible job.
Absolutely insane damage coming out from that Sombra. He's got 15k damage on the board.
Yeah, that's a lot, especially for close range maps like this. Sombra likes to get that damage in close range, but I like seeing the Sombra on these teams. It makes for, you know, quicker, cleaner team fights. I'm sure that that's what they want. Huskies are ahead by a player here.
Mr. Gotgame doing the self-destruct on the point to buy themselves some more time.
Pickle Piglet not finding any damage with that Death Blossom. Will make a little bit of space, I suppose. You know, if you miss an ultimate, you could always call it a spacing ultimate. So we'll call it a spacing ultimate, but Kutztown
Totally
forced-
intentional.
Yeah. Put right back to the spawn room. Sent back
Husky's
there.
pushing hard.
Yeah, this is a forward position. I do like this though. It denies a little bit more options for the Kutztown supports in the back line, forcing them into only a couple places instead of, you know, maybe twice that amount. BK Factory
Big Rick
throwing a bomb
doing
over.
the cloaking and trying to get a nice position behind them. Looks like he manages to catch a couple of them off guard, but he is pretty low health right now.
Yeah, killing Rebler there is really big, especially that early. I'm surprised he was able to get that amount of damage off in that time because, you know, Moira with that fade is a character who's not easy to take out alone. But he did it, so good job. Pretty even here on both sides, almost approaching 68-68 for both teams. Sheep's looking for an EMP. He's hiding here on the side, he's looking for this Lucio. He wants to find the Lucio and the Moira with it, and there are both. Here he comes. He will only find the Lucio, which might not be enough for his team. His team's pushing in here, but there's a lot of utility getting used from Kutztown that will keep them alive.
Litlow does manage to get hacked by that right-click ability that Sombra has with the individual hack.
Yeah, I mean, being a channeled ultimate and not a transform, Moira will get canceled out of that ult, so I'm sure that Sheep was looking to cancel that coalescence from Litlow, but it just didn't happen. Cancel
Big
culture
Rick
going
with
a little
the EMP
too far.
on deck already.
Huskies, even with a rough and hard path through that choke point, will find extra percent on this point and a second chance on this last sub point of Ilios. We have a pause from Kutztown. I wonder, probably something on their side. They are all playing from home, so I'm expecting it's probably an internet issue.
Litlow is appearing to be in a pretty bad position, though, for when they resume this little interaction here. He's all by himself in that little shack on the side of this map. All the rest of his teammates are nowhere to be seen.
Oh, looks like Sponty's computer's GPU may have just fried, to be honest. I hope that's not the case, but we'll be back in a minute here with some action. But let's talk while we're still here about this crazy team fight that the Huskies just ended up winning. They managed to take what it was like a last second stall scenario and a first death on their team from Blackflip touching the spawn into a team fight win. How did they pull that off?
I think they've been doing a great job of forcing Kutztown into favorable interactions for their team. They've managed to kind of keep them pinned down to that one corner of this map with that high walkway on the side of the point here. And the Huskies have just been able to take advantage of that with the Sombra hacks, the EMP. They've got a nice kind of beam weapon with the Moira.
Right, yeah, I think that Kutztown's gonna have an opportunity here to push back. They do have an equal ult economy, if not maybe a little behind the Huskies here. They're gonna have at least one opportunity to come back to the point here and put it all on the table. And it looks like we're ready, and we're gonna be starting up.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Litlow in such a weird position here. Manages to kind of get out of that position with that crazy teleport.
Yeah, Moira Fade is one of the most powerful movement abilities in the game, especially on a support, you know, giving them the opportunity to get out. And absolute hell breaks loose here. So many ultimates getting used.
BK Factor unleashing that self-destruct right inside of Blackflip's Winston bubble. It's not going to get a lot of value.
Mr. Got Game getting stuck there from Char and maintaining the golden Overwatch rule, which is if you're stuck with that pulse bomb, you don't move. Pickle Piglet ripping through the backline of Kutztown might mean disaster for them on this last map, and there's no one even close to touch here. Sponty
Monty
manages
going
to
absolutely
get
nuts
on.
with that monkey ultimate, just trying to give them a little bit more time to find themselves on that point.
That was incredibly close for him there, and it looks like Kutztown will not be able to get back. Huskies will be taking that last map. Very back and forth from both teams there. We're going to be getting an interview from some Kutztown players in a second here. Um, in a moment. Yes, that was a great scrim for both teams. We saw probably not as much adaptation as we did last week from them. Only a couple of switches in their characters. But it worked out well for them like midway through and after. Looks like we're gonna be talking here next to Big Rick. Big Rick, welcome to the stream.
Hi.
So Big Rick, the DPS player for Kutztown, tell us, myself and Austin here, what happened on that last push from the Huskies? That 99 stall push where their main tank, Blackflip jumped on, died instantly, but they ended up winning the fight. What happened there on your guys' end?
So it's you're talking about the last point there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of a rough disconnect, but we can't really blame it because we were on our way back to spawn anyway. We sort of had a target to call their monkey, and then after that we sort of broke down. Our target focus was off, and our beat sort of got caught by a Reaper ult, which I can't really call to him too much. Kind of a hard one to react to, honestly. So we just sort of didn't cycle our ults properly and position ourselves in a way that we could really take it.
Saw like from the Huskies this evening, some of the best positioning of any team, like ever, that I've seen in
Yeah.
collegiate. They are incredibly good at playing together and staying together, especially with that May composition. What was your game plan to try to get around that?
Absolutely. Their rush, specifically, I agree with you that they were super disciplined. They had a lot of fantastic rotates, even in the macro. Like, it's not even just a individual level. Their team is very coordinated. But our plan was just to sort of attempt to outplay it using the Pharah. You saw a lot of. We used a lot of the ball, and then on occasion we tried to match them on the brawl. They had a very specific map pool, and I feel as though that may have been a factor in how well they were able to coordinate. But overall, it was we really had to nut up.
Yeah, I think this was a great like learning experience for you guys. You had a lot of matches that were pretty back and forth, right? We saw you guys kind of fumble a little bit on Route 66. Have you guys seen that strategy?
In the past with this particular iteration of our team, I don't believe so. I know on an individual level, all of us have been held in spawn on Route 66 at least once. I mean, it's almost like a rite of passage, but yeah, I should have been far the whole time. I was kind of trolling on Reaper, but we eventually dismantled it. Took a little too long. Yeah.
Austin, do you have anything you want to ask?
Well, I just wanted to say I did actually like the Reaper pick on Ilios. I do think that's a pretty good map for Reaper to shine with his abilities. But it just didn't look like you got a much real estate or purchase off of that.
Yeah, specifically when we're running, we call it zombie comp. It's the Moira, Lucio, Sombra, Reaper, Monkey, Diva. When we're running that specifically, we have to move sort of as a unit, and Echo makes it very easy on them to sort of pick us apart from a range. That being said, I probably could have positioned myself a little better against the Echo, but I think when we followed up with the Tracer, I think it felt like it worked a lot better when I swapped, so, you know.
Well, I think that was a great showing from Kutztown. I could see you guys learning as you played. We'll be back next week with some more. Rick, do you have anything you want to say before we throw it to the wrap it up?
Great scrim with the enemy team, the Huskies. They really helped us learn a lot today.
They seem like good guys too. They were good sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Funny people.
Yeah.
That's nice in the Scrim world. So, thank you for joining us, everyone, tonight. My name is Connor. His name is Austin. And you've been watching Now Loading Esports.